when he. All right, my producer's going to get socked in the nose for having noise behind me. No, I'm kidding. He said there are a lot of, and we're talking about the Chicago Bears. He said there. He said there are a lot of Mother Bear fans that will defend the Bears, good, bad, or indifferent. I started thinking about it. I said, he's right. They will defend the Bears, and, you know, it's good to be positive most of the time, and I understand that. But be a real fan and dive into your team and see what's wrong with them that can be fixed. Okay? Who have I taken this tone with in the year plus that Snowman in the Morning has been on air, folks? Who have I taken this tone with? Which team, I should say, have I taken this tone with a lot? You're right. The Chicago Cubs. That's an oops in and of itself, and that's a rant for a later time. I started to talk about Cleveland. AFC North, Cincinnati 7-3-1, Pittsburgh and Cleveland 7-4, Baltimore 6-4, possibly 7-4. But Cleveland. They're scoring 22 per game. They scored 26 yesterday. They're ninth in the NFL in offense at 366.9, 366 yards per game. 11th in passing at 2.5. And 14th at 116.4. Cleveland. What? This is Cleveland. What? I'm shocked. I got a friend, Kelly Gladden, who I worked with at Cedar Point in 05, who is a big-time Cleveland Browns fan, and I tease her mercilessly. All right? I can't do it anymore, at least for now. Josh Gordon, who was suspended for the first 10 games, caught 8 passes for 120 yards. And Brian bleeping Hoyer. What kind of last name is that? What kind of last name is that for a quarterback? Brian Hoyer. I wonder how much he got teased during high school because of his last name. Hoyer, meet us in the foyer. What the hell is that? I know I got teased about my last name, and I'm still teased about my last name for years growing up. In fact, it got to a point, Victor and I were hanging out one weekend 2 years ago, and a couple kids had recognized me, and they said my last name, and a young lady said, "I love your last name." I said, "I do too." And then I spat out, I've been a walking oxymoron for 40 years. And Victor walked out of the room laughing. Because I am. But back to the subject at hand, which is the miraculous rise of the Cleveland Browns. Brian Hoyer is playing one hell of a quarterback right now. He shook off 3 interceptions. He led a drive in the final minute, and Billy Cundiff's 37-yard field goal as the clock went dead gave the Browns their 7th win of the year. Wow. The Falcons got a 53-yard field goal from Matt Bryant with 44 seconds remaining to take the lead. And you thought that would be it. You would thought that would be it. You would think. Okay, Cleveland's about to go. Holy cow, they won. But listen to Brian Hoyer. He said, quote, nothing to lose, really. Go out and play fearless. That's all I have at that point. In describing the last drive of the game. Wow. So Cleveland is 7-4. They get Josh Gordon back. This is scary. Matter of fact, we're going to take a look at. Let's look deep inside the stats book. Of this particular game. And I thought, I did a question during the summer. What is the most cursed city in Chicago? And a lot of people said Cleveland, and no one expected. All right, y'all. I got my hook on Cleveland right now. You know the only Cleveland Brown that did not play yesterday? Aside of the ones that are not active. You ready for this name? This name should sound familiar. Johnny Manziel. The only one that did not play. He's going to be holding a clipboard for the rest of the season. Yeah, man, you take a hold of that clipboard. Isaiah Crowell started his college career at Georgia, finished at Alabama A&M, 12 carries for 88 yards. Steven Jackson, a bad pickup for Atlanta, 13 carries, 34 yards. Brian Hoyer, God, that name. But this is what he did, 23 of 40, 322 yards. He threw 3 picks and led the game-winning drive. Matt Ryan, 27 of 43, 273 yards. Ryan was sacked 3 times, threw 2 touchdowns plus a pick. Roddy White caught 9 for 96. Josh Gordon for Cleveland caught 8 for 120. What is going to happen, and this is where I start having fun. What do you think would happen if Cleveland, I can't believe I'm going to say this, makes the playoffs? What would you, what do you think, how? I can't even put this question together without stuttering. How? Matter of fact, let's look at the playoff picture. Jeez Louise, I'm sorry. They don't have the... What? Okay, I thought this would be up. It's not. I apologize. But I still want to know how did Cleveland get in the playoff picture? Because they're firmly in it right now, which is scary. What should also be scary is how good they are. And getting better each day. Oh my heavens. Oh my Lord. Why don't I just roll through the scores of what happened this week? Thursday night, the Oakland Raiders got their first win of the year. They beat Kansas City 24-20. Cleveland. I can't stop. Cleveland. I'm sorry. Cleveland beats Atlanta 26-24. The Bears over Tampa Bay 21-13. Cincinnati 22. Houston 13. Indianapolis 23. Jacksonville 3. I'll touch on that game in a moment. Aaron Rodgers is not overrated, Josh Lopez. Take that. They beat Minnesota 24-21. Tom Brady is not overrated. Take that. They smashed Detroit, the Patriots 34-9. Philadelphia puts 43 on Tennessee and defeats them 43-24. The late games, San Diego 27, St. Louis 24, Seattle 19, Arizona 3. Denver defeats Miami 39-36. I'll touch on that in a moment. My 49ers beat Washington 17-13, and the Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Giants 31-28. I mentioned Skip Bayless earlier in the show. You're listening to Snowman in the Morning, driven by Sowers Ford. Victor, you can't handle any coffee. That's too much caffeine for you. Anyway, he just texted me he's getting some coffee. I know I'm going to get some coffee here in a moment. Now, there are two games here tonight on Monday night. And the reason there are two games is because the Jets and Buffalo were scheduled to play yesterday, but they got dump trunked by 12 feet of snow. So they're going to play in Detroit. This is the second time Detroit has hosted an NFL game that is not a Super Bowl. The second time Detroit has hosted a regular season game that doesn't feature the Lions. And the second time they've hosted a game at Ford Field that is not a Super Bowl. Jets and Buffalo play at Ford Field tonight. Baltimore and Nolans is the second game. And I want to say that is at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. 6 and 8:30 are the times that no, they got it at the regular time. They got it at the regular time of 7:30 Central Time. But you know what? Here's one thing that caught my attention, and I want to put this in the form of a question. Oh, that's why. That's why it's 7 and 8:30. Because tonight, the Jets-Bills game is on CBS. I should have thought of that. I didn't think of that. Okay. But 5 feet of snow in Buffalo. They moved the game to Detroit. And here's the question that I wanted to pose. They offered free tickets to fans at Ford Field. Would you take them? I don't know if I would. I really don't know if I would. Here's the story. This is from DetroitLions.com, and this is Friday. This is from Friday. Tickets for the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets game at Ford Field Monday, 7 p.m. will be free and available to the general public. Tickets distributed for the game originally scheduled for the 23rd will also be accepted for admission. Free ticket offers are being distributed to Buffalo Bills and Detroit Lions season ticket members today. That's what's going on. I like that. Method of delivery will be via flash seats. The general public will have an opportunity to secure free tickets to Monday's game beginning at 10 a.m. Saturday, November 22nd. If I had had this, I probably would have made the trip up there. Now, all seating will be general admission. There's a question for you right there. Would you, if you had a chance to get free tickets to a football game, would you take them? I'd really have to think about it. You know what? Ron Murchison just gave me a great point when I was talking about the Bears. He said, this is how ridiculous some Bears fans are when it comes to McCown. Last year, he wasn't responsible for the losses because of a bad defense. This year, he is not to blame because he doesn't have a good team around him. Nobody knew who he was until Cutler got hurt. He went 3-2. That's not the record of a savior. Last year, no one knew who he was until Cutler got hurt. Thank you, Ron. How true is that?